times have come. Here, but now they're gone. Seasons don't fear the reaper, nor do the wind or the sun or the rain. We can be like they are. Come on, baby, don't fear the reaper. Baby, take my hand. Don't fear the reaper. You'll be able to fly. Valentine is done. Here, but now they're gone. Romeo and Juliet are together in eternity. Romeo and Juliet, women every day. And Juliet, women every day. Like they are. Come on, baby, don't fear the reaper. Baby, take my hand. Don't fear the reaper. You'll be able to fly. Don't fear the reaper. Baby, I'm your man. La 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 la. La 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 la.
New in town, grad student working my PhD. Don't know nobody, sending CVs to the local police. This is a brand new start. I can shed my rep as a super school smarty. Just met my neighbors, and I got invited to a rock and pool party. Turn up the volume, kick off the weekend right. We're making new friends, flashing in the strobing light. I shed my old ways, time to be a real fun guy. Pullman ain't half bad, shout it till sunrise. Locked eyes with the girl by the pool. Laugh, she asked about my zone. Typed my digits in her phone. Got a text before I got home. DJ cranked the beat. We bounced a beach ball to the sky. But some guys swap small talk. Bug season? Nah, I'm vegan. Bye. Now we're splashing in the shallow end, vibing with my kind of crowd. No camouflage allowed, just neon waves and music loud. She whispered, you're unique, like the night's not yet done. WSU ain't D-cells, man, I'm having fun. The lights fade out, I let the crowd rewind. Tall pines beat bass drops when I need peace of mind. USU dreams burn, but my heart's aligned. Books and constellations, I'll glow while they shine. Didn't get the job with the cops. Porky and his piglet crew seem corrupt. Aw shucks, but I don't want part in the drug deals they cover up. I think my neighbor's stalking me. She cute, but it's way too much. She uses every socio excuse just to try to keep in touch. Bachelor's in psych, master's in the justice. A PhD motivates me more than 100. While they chase the noise, I'm chasing my arc. You can always find me watching stars in the park. Locked eyes with a girl by the pool. Laugh, she asked about my zone. Type my digits in her phone. Type my digits in her phone. But summit till sunrise. Lights fade out, I let the crowd rewind. Tall pines beat bass drops when I need peace of mind. WSU dreams burn, but my heart's aligned. Books and constellations, I'll glow while they shine. and constellations, I'll glow while they shine. Didn't get the job with the cops, Porky and his piglet crew seem corrupt. Aw shucks, but I don't want part in the drug deals they cover up. I think my neighbor's stalking me, she cute but it's way too much. She uses every socio excuse to try to keep in touch. Bachelor's in psych, master's in the justice. A PhD motivates me more than a huntress. While they chase the noise, I'm chasing my arc. You can always find me watching stars in the park.
The karambit is native to Indonesia in the 14th century, where it was first used as a simple farming tool. Later, other Southeast Asian countries adopted the karambit, and also made use of it in farming and the martial arts. Kathy Mabbutt, a practicing attorney at law and former registered nurse, was elected to the office of Lada County Coroner in November 2006. As coroner, she announced the manner and cause of death in the Moscow, Idaho quadruple homicides based upon the autopsies, which were conducted on November 17, 2022. In this press release, the coroner announced the names of the 4 victims, along with their manner and cause of death, which was homicide by stabbing. She further stated that the 4 victims were likely asleep. Each was stabbed multiple times, and some had defensive wounds. Obviously, the autopsy report has not yet been made public. All autopsy reports include very detailed descriptions of stabbing wounds suffered by victims. As in the following example. The following is an example of an autopsy stab wound description. The victim weighed 55.7 kilograms and was 162 centimeters tall. Lividity was very slight. She had 1 stab wound on the precordium and 9 stab wounds on the back. The precordium stab wound measured 4.2 centimeters and appeared sharp at the left end and rectangular at the right end. The width of the right end of the wound was 0.2 centimeters. The wound penetrated the 5th intercostal space, left diaphragm, liver, and the right side of the thoracic aorta through the right thoracic cavity. A 250 milliliter blood clot was present in the right thoracic cavity. The maximum depth of the wound was 12 centimeters from the skin to the aorta. Obviously, we cannot use the manner and cause of death to back our theory that a second weapon, specifically a karambit, was also used at the crime scene. Nor can we refer to the autopsy report, which has not yet been made public. However, we can rely on the coroner's eyewitness description of the wounds. According to Mr. Goncalves, the coroner described the wounds that she saw as, quote, big open gouges or tears. She also said, quote, I don't think stabs is the right word. It was like tears. Like, this was a strong weapon. Not like a stab. This was not something where you were going to call 911. They were not going to slowly bleed out. The tiger claw is the karambit nickname. Tigers are known to disembowel their prey with their claws. The karambit can also gouge, claw, rip, tear, slice, pull, and leave gaping wounds, like a tiger's claw. The karambit requires less physical exertion than a Kbar, and can cause maximum damage in just a few seconds. The karambit has a built-in leverage in its curved design that can cause gape or gouge-type wounds, with very little physical exertion. The karambit ring or hole is a safety mechanism that prevents slippage and enables you to change the position of the grip, without dropping the weapon. Gouge or gape wounds caused by a karambit result in maximum loss of vital fluids. And the clawing effect can displace tendons, ligaments, and muscle tissue, as well as damage organs. A Kbar can stab or slice. But unlike a karambit, a Kbar is incapable of clawing, tearing, and pulling. And a Kbar will not leave a gouging or gaping wound. If the Kbar stab wounds are non-fatal, people can often survive if 911 is called in a timely manner. This is due to the tamponade effect. The tamponade effect occurs when puncture and stab-type wounds appear to close up, due to the swelling of the tissue, and coagulation and clotting of the blood because of the close proximity of the wound edges. The tamponade effect is not possible on gouge, gaping and tearing wounds caused by a karambit. The tip of the Kbar blade is known to break off during its use on just one single victim. This means that the probability of a Kbar blade tip breaking off during its use, on 4 different victims, is about 99.9%. So, it's just about guaranteed that the Kbar blade tip would have broken off under those circumstances. Yet, no broken blade tip was recovered at the crime scene, as far as we know. The repeated thrusting of the Kbar to produce multiple stabbings on just one victim can leave a perpetrator physically exhausted. By the time he reached the 3rd and 4th person, he would likely be depleted of energy and would likely be overcome by resistance. In conclusion, a Kbar is incapable of causing ripping or tearing wounds, with big open gouges, as described by the coroner. But the karambit is capable of causing such wounds in only a few seconds' time. Also, people often survive non-lethal Kbar stab wounds if 911 responds in a timely manner, due to the coagulating tamponade of the stab wound itself, stopping or slowing the loss of vital fluids. The open gouge and tear wounds described by the coroner will result in more blood loss, because in such wounds, a coagulating tamponade is not possible. In addition, Kbar blade tips have a tendency to break off after use on just one single victim. With multiple stab wounds on 4 different victims, the chances of a broken Kbar tip is nearly 100%. Yet, no broken blade tip was found as far as we know. Because of the different types of wounds suffered by Maddie and Kaylee, we are certain that there was a second weapon capable of causing the particular types of wounds described by the coroner. All evidence indicates that the second weapon was a karambit.
And there we are. And good evening, my beautiful crime family, on this Thursday evening, early evening. I got a show for you tonight. I think we're going to be talking about here. That right there is from, I think it's Crime Time X. There is a link in the description down below. Yeah, I found that more than interesting because of what Mabbott has all said. I mean, the Kbar can't do that. It can't do it, folks. It can't. Not the gouging and the tearing. It can't do that. Anyway, I want to say hi to my crime family. Love Tina, my girl. Good to see you. And down the rabbit hole to hell. Good to see you. Wendy, good to see you. Paco, good to see you. And thank you. I know the Timberwolves sucked last night. I guess there's always next year, but I'm proud of what they did this year. Beth D, good to see you. Debbie Gazzardo, my girl, good to see you. Snow Leopard, good to see you. Hope Norris, good to see you. Beth D, good to see you. Rooster Possum, good to see you. Randy Fur, my brother, good to see you. Jackie Bushable, good to see you. WB, good to see you. Simply Solo, good to see you, girl. I hope you got the package in the mail. Snow Leopard, good to see you. And where are we at here? Leo, good to see you. Mark and Betty, good to see you from across the pond. I love ya. And Crime Spy, good to see you. Mrs. Johnny Knapp, good to see you. Missy Q, good to see you. And everybody that's up there chatting, there is too many to keep going on. Sweet and Salty, good to see you. Anyway, so yeah. So what they call that, a karambit or whatever it's called? What's it called again? Yeah, karambit. That fits exactly what Mabbott was saying about the tears and the gouges. How can they say this is a Kbar? And just because there's a sheath there doesn't mean shit. Doesn't mean anything. If the night oh man. If they found a little tiny sheath this big, but the gouge the stars are that big, it ain't the right match. And how can they say that it's a Kbar? They don't know, people. They don't know. And I think in reality, I think Ann Taylor's going to attack even the Kbar because it doesn't match. It you know what? Nothing matches in this fucking case. Excuse my language. Nothing matches in this case. The cars don't match. Nothing does. The Kbar doesn't match. Nothing lines up. The no BLOOD and nothing matches in this case. And I don't think even the Kbar matches in this case. Excuse me here. And don't you agree with? Let me see what everybody's saying on this. That the that the karambit matches what was done to these kids. At least some of the wounds. That's why, and that's another thing is they talk about multiple weapons, and that's coming up more now, even in the documents. So, maybe there was a Kbar involved, but that's not the only thing. And if they think they're going to get by with saying the Kbar was the only weapon, they're not going to get by with that. There's just no way in hell. Anyway, so I thought I would run that because I just don't see, and I've never seen a case like this where nothing matches up. Even when it comes to the weapon. I mean, most times, like in gun, when there's a gun involved, they can get the bullet. With knives, they can kind of tell, oh, it came from the kitchen. It came, it's this kind of knife, that kind of, this one, oh, it's a Kbar because the sheath is there. Something isn't adding up. And there's, well, that's a cougar got in there. But gouges and tears, what are they going to say about that? when they get an expert on the stand and saying Kbar can't do that kind of wound, and then explains why. To me, they have nothing. They really don't have nothing. And Lana's show last night, where you know, the speeding car, she pretty much proves. Anybody watch Lana last night? Anybody watch Lana's show last night? She put out a video like 22 minutes long or something. Right, I've said that before, Paco. Yeah. Maybe cougars did come in, the doors are open. Yeah, I've said that before and I got laughed at. So whatever. um, but I'm just looking to see here. It was a good video. Yeah, it was. It was a good video. And I mean, that pretty much proves that that isn't the car. You know, that isn't Brian Koberger's car. It isn't the and I showed it, and it looks like a two-door coupe. Well, how are they gonna? What, they got nothing. Why is this man in jail? Why is this man in jail? And then this is the stuff that gets us creators thinking, well, was this an extraction? And Kohlberger's just a patsy to be in jail until it's over. Until the parallel investigations are over. Is he just a fall guy, or, in witness protection? We haven't, it's funny, but we haven't. You would think by now, right? 2.5 years, that somebody that had been in jail would have ran across the dude, right? You don't hear of anybody coming forward saying, hey, I talked to him in jail. So what, they got him in a holding cell or something, or like you know what I mean? I think he's in witness protection in jail. I think they're protecting him. Is it because, because of the 4 and just because for his safety, because of that, or is there more to it? And was there an extraction in place at that house? So yeah, anyway, let me look at what I got here. Yeah. Okay, and this is that load up here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this here, and this is from Ruby G. And if you guys haven't subbed to Ruby G, I highly recommend subbing to Ruby G. Go look at the page, and it's in the description. The link is in the description. Mods, I'd appreciate if you put up the link to the Ruby G channel. That is an excellent channel, and lots of good videos there. So the same with that Crime Time X. Anyway, let's get to this. Make sure it shares here. And there we go. Okay, so here we are. I want to get I'm going to put a different logo up there. Where is that? Yeah, we'll do that one. Sticker. Yeah, there we go. And back here. Okay, here we go. Yeah, this is Ruby G's channel right here. She put it out 7 hours ago. It's only got 708 views. She's got 870 subscribers, and people need to like this channel. If you go look at her channel, you'll see it's a really good channel. Anyway, this is called Spoonful of Sugar: Trafficking in Treasure Valley Part 1. And this is about Idaho 4. So let's check this.
DHS defines human trafficking as involving the use of force, fraud, or coercion to obtain some type of labor or commercial sex act.
Human trafficking is the exploitation of human beings for profit and has no place in any society.
Hey, by the way, many of us have heard that term, sex trafficking, but what does that actually mean? Well, tonight, we're going to break down what it means to help you understand and why you should actually care.
A time to educate ourselves and raise awareness in our communities about this devastating crime that violates the most basic human rights.
Americans care a lot about money. We talk about jobs and taxes and paychecks, but here's what we don't talk about. Right here in the United States, there is a thriving underground economy based on selling children for sex.
You know, that's the thing that 2020 hindsight is all great. But in that moment, this kid is just, she's still a kid, right? I still think of these guys as kids.
There's some kids that are caught up in the middle of all this. They grew up here, right? Yeah.
This is how sex traffickers do business. It's about supply and demand. First, they need someone to sell.
If people are buying, they're going to find a way to supply that demand.
They find them by combing through social media profiles, looking to spark a conversation.
Because anybody can say open an account and then send transactions, but it depends where was that device and what Wi-Fi and what was the IP address and who was sending and receiving these payments. Okay, now Christy responded to this dude. I mean, you.
Check that out, folks. So here's this Rob somebody saying, text me. I can't read under there. If you are looking for he gives an email or some address here. If you're looking for a legit sugar daddy to spoil you financially. And Christy Gonzalez answers, hi there, how are you? If that's her. You know what I mean?
Telling you, Venmo is telling me a different story in this Idaho 4 case. Who knew that Venmo was like a haven for sugar babies, sugar daddies, and sugar mamas, sugar parents? But if you look at the Idaho 4 individuals and some of their Venmo transactions, I mean, just look at this sugar mama H. DM, if you're looking for a sugar mama.
These people who are wanting sugar babies are perverts.
Yes, that's what they are. Absolutely.
Great, simple. And many of them are pedophiles, but not always. So any age will do, depending on the individual.
This could happen to anybody. It happens to people that are high up on the socioeconomic level that don't need the money, but because of different situations that are happening there, they're pulled into the life.
Victims can be any age, race, gender, immigration status, socioeconomic status.
This isn't the movies. It's not like Pretty Woman or Taken. Richard Gere is not the buyer. Liam Neeson isn't there to save the day. This is sexual exploitation. This is trafficking. This is modern day slavery.
So this isn't limited to Idaho, but in Idaho, we know that there are those who are being exploited and have been exploited in certain situations.
Human trafficking is a problem in every state. Paula says most of the victims they see are Idahoans. She says the biggest source of trafficking here is familial.
Our kids are being sold and they're being bought.
And it's happening here in Idaho too.
We have a very skewed understanding of at what level do we allow our children to be put in a box.
Sent my daughter to college to get an education. She came back in a box, and I can speak on that.
Parents, ask your children what they know if your kids are over there. They know something. If these kids stand together, we can put an end to this. Otherwise, kids are going to keep dying. The people are going to keep dying. These people mean it. They're not kidding. They're dangerous.
Cosby's first law of intergenerational perversity. No matter what you tell your child to do, it will always do the opposite. Huh?
This is so classic trafficking scenario that I cannot fathom hardly that there's anything else that could be going on.
Be a little conservative. She was conservative too. She was always looking up stories on child, getting trafficked, and she was telling me that she thinks it's a lot bigger than people understand.
We have in addition to sex trafficking, we have an issue with labor trafficking.
So who are these buyers? Court records show they've been teachers, pastors, cops, and judges.
Last year, 44 Idaho police officers had their law enforcement certifications revoked because of misconduct. Law enforcement records show the total number of Idaho decertifications in 2020 was up from 2019, when just 39 officers were stripped of their credentials. 486 Idaho police officers have been decertified since 2002.
There's been ops around the country where cops have shown up, firefighters, things like that, where you just wouldn't expect it.
Due to Idaho state law, we are limited in what information we can release today.
According to the charter, as chief constable, I'm supposed to get a pig every month and 2 comely lasses of virtue true.
Over the weekend, investigators still continued to sort through numerous tips, calls, and online tips in regard to this investigation.
I wish to report a robbery.
A robbery, right. Thanks for the report. There's another one, Lou. 723 Evergreen Terrace. Well, there doesn't seem to be any pattern yet, but if I take this one and move it here, then I move these over here. Hello? It almost looks like an arrow.
Hey, look, Chief, it's pointing right at this police station.
Let's get out of here!
You have nowhere to turn and no recourse when you're caught up in a situation that might involve law enforcement. Where do you go?
Recent Idaho State Police data shows law enforcement agencies reported 36 human trafficking offenses in Idaho in 2022, a 414% increase from the previous year.
Data doesn't paint an accurate picture of how prevalent it is in Idaho.
Other agencies may not track human trafficking because it happens at the same time as other crimes and can be hard for officers to identify. It's a much bigger problem than those numbers portray.
We have an entire population that is under-identified, under-reported, and funneling through our systems punitively.
What are you supposed to do when those tasked with protecting you, ensuring your safety, and respecting your rights are complicit in the harassment and beneficiaries of your exploitation? You see, like you, our own deals with the devil, and likewise are expected to fall in line.
Sarah, you're as lovely as the day I first arrested you.
Oh, Clancy.
I planted that crystal meth just to meet you. I was so shy.
Having handlers that were law enforcement in a university community, as my experience, they took my driver's license and memorized it. That was before cell phones.
Yeah.
So I'm going to grab your info.
Yeah.
And if I do have to come back here, a $300-some ticket's coming your way.
Okay.
And it only gets more expensive from there. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fair. Absolutely.
Actually, let's just do it this. What's a good phone number for you? I'd much rather you spend that $300 on beer or something fun than
Yeah.
a sticker, right?
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. That being said, warnings. Don't do it again.
Yep.
I'd hate to come back in a few hours and have to issue. So,
Yeah.
any questions for me?
No.
All right. Have a great issue.
Take care.
It's one thing to look at it and to get your age, but to take a photo to get all the info is spooky to me.
Mhm.
And who is that information going to?
So there's also rumors. There's also rumors that the cops are taking the girls' phone numbers and actually not just the girls, but multiple girls around there and calling them and trying to court them. Yeah, rumors. I'm not saying this is very, but I mean, so
He's in that position I was talking about. He's in a position of authority over you, and anyone in those positions
Mhm.
are terrifying.
This is ridiculous. You've been through my delicates, my silkies, my dainties, and my unmentionables.
Hey, Chief, look what I found under Mr. Simpson's car seat.
Hey, man, you planted that. It's your word against the chief of police. Homer Simpson, you're under arrest for murder.
What you believe the motive of the crime was?
To shut them up. I believe that it was initiated to shut them up, and I believe maybe the people who were hired to do it or told to do it went overboard.
You don't have to give a name, but I mean, is it someone that she knew, or?
I have something to say about that. I just feel like there's been a couple individuals that were cleared very fast. That may not, maybe shouldn't have been. And yeah.
When you hear these suspects, but there's no warrant related to them, then you can kind of toss those out.
Some victims of human trafficking can feel like their new lifestyle was a choice, and so they really have no one else to blame for their current situation. Traffickers use insecurity, embarrassment, fear of retaliation, and intimidation to control their victims. These forms include imposing of debt, fraudulent employment opportunities, false promises of love or a better life, psychological coercion, and violence or threats of violence. The crime of human trafficking hinges on the exploitation of another person.
When it turns into something like unwanted intimacy, who are you going to tell? Your trafficker that sent you on the, I tried telling, and they're like, they more or less said, no kidding.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, you should know that's where this is going.
If you view the individual from the lens of prostitution, then you are saying that that person is choosing to do it and nobody is forcing that.
Some people know about it and put their head in the sand about the whole situation.
Yeah, I think that's what we're struggling with. So it's like, we know what we know. I want to know, but then there's stuff obviously you don't want to know.
Okay, so Maddie's in the background. I showed this picture to you before. Can you explain what the hell this guy's doing here?
The first words out of my mouth were, what the heck? What is going on here? So after I said, what the heck, then I'm looking and I'm going, he's carrying a drink in their home. So he's hanging out. And then my understanding is there's video of him more than once in this home. Is that correct?
he's a frequent flyer there.
Transnational drug traffickers and criminal organizations often look to increase profits and market control through diversification. This means using trafficking routes for drugs, labor, sex, and violence.
It's just a different commodity. You got your dope that isn't a walking, talking entity, and so there's less concerns around that. But then moving people is the same as moving dope. Yeah.
For example, cartels will often use trafficked women to smuggle drugs across the border, doubling the exploitation and the money they can take from them.
I've known many who weren't on any sort of drugs or anything that are shot up their first time with something and are addicted, and then addicted for life, like fighting and fighting and fighting. If they survive the trafficking, then they're fighting addictions.
I was arrested with a trafficker, and it was his drugs on me. He made me carry, And when I told the officer what had happened, the officer wouldn't believe me. He thought that I was just a prostitute that had a drug problem.
Traffickers use drugs and alcohol as tools to lure potential victims, groom them, and ultimately control them. They exploit individuals' opioid use or substance use disorders to coerce them into trafficking, knowing that they are more vulnerable than individuals without substance use disorders.
This is not the end of this investigation. In fact, this is a new beginning.
So yeah, I think there's a lot. I don't know if it's still going on, but I think there was a lot going on in that town, in Pullman, and then in that whole area, including like Coeur d'Alene too. I mean, that whole thing, and trafficking can include so much. And what they're finding out is that police departments, a lot of them are involved. And there's been busts. If you look it up, there's been busts in trafficking where policemen are involved. And, you know, all it takes is one bad apple. And everybody knows that. I'm not saying anything bad about police departments or anything, but if you got a bad apple or two, if you have a bad apple, that bad apple spreads in the bag, right? If you have a bad apple in a bag, that bad apple, all of a sudden the other ones start going bad. All it takes is one to corrupt others. And yes, money talks. Money talks. Did Kaylee, did she know something 2 weeks before she was talking about trafficking? Did she run across something in her sleuthing? Because, I mean, we need to seriously look at this. We need to seriously look at this. There's a few things about this case that can point to that. Like I said, craziest case I've ever seen, and that makes me think a lot of different things. And I mean, there's something wrong. There's something not right about this case. And yes, I do believe there's law enforcement involvement. And again, I'm for law enforcement. Okay. I'm not like against law enforcement. I'm for law enforcement, and they do a tremendous job. Most of them. But there is some out there that, that are struggling maybe financially or something. And this is a very tempting thing to get into for them. Yeah. Let's see what else I got here. This is something I didn't know either. What was that one? Okay, well, definitely this one. Okay, so this next video is from Primetime X, and I don't think they put out a lot of videos, but when they do, they're pretty good. I don't want to go to my email right now because it just slows this down, and I have problems doing that with this computer. Here's who I'm running right now, and that's Crime Time X79. Crime Time X79. And let me show you what I got here. Okay, so here we go. Crawl space behind Kaylee's room and bathroom exposed by King Road demo. Stash room? Question mark. That's just. I thought this was interesting. This was put out a year ago. This is a really good channel, though. Actually, Crime Time X. There. Check it out.
There it is in plain view, guys. That's not a window. That's a small door that leads to Kaylee's room. The roof slants over Xana's room and the living room, which creates that crawl space. Now notice how the building offsets here, guys, and then it goes all the way across to Maddie and Kaylee's bathroom. And there's the middle window, which is just the shared space between Maddie and Kaylee's room and the bathroom. Now let's take a look inside the bathroom. There's the shower and normal things you see in a bathroom. But this bathroom also has a floor vent. And it's right next to the crawl space. Ladies, let us know in the comments section. How would you feel if your apartment had a crawl space next to your bathroom? Kind of creepy, right? And a perfect setup for a two-way mirror. But not in this case, because the crawl space is not high enough. But what about those floor vents? Could a perv actually hang out inside there? We're not sure about that because of the ventilation. And there doesn't seem to be any vents outside. At least we don't see any. But what about this? It looks like something that connects to a clothes dryer. But it's connected to Kaylee's room. Could it be part of the air conditioning system? If you know, please share in the comments. I don't know, guys. It's one thing to have an attic or crawl space in your home. Perhaps in your ceiling, where it's not easily accessible. But a crawl space in your apartment that leads to your bedroom and behind your bathroom is kind of spooky in my opinion. And how about that floor vent in the bathroom? Couldn't a perv put a hidden camera in there, accessible from the crawl space? Wow. And it's a nice place to hide a stash without anyone in the house even knowing about it. Especially a house full of girls. I mean, which one of the girls do you think even went inside that crawl space? Not that there was a reason to. But guys are different. They don't need a reason to go inside. They just go in. And look at Kaylee's room. It was the best room of them all because of its size and because of the access to the balcony. But weren't some of the other girls there before Kaylee moved in? So why didn't any of them call dibs on that room when it was vacant? Maybe because of the crawl space. We don't know, we're just speculating on that. But that crawl space is definitely a good place for a stash of some sort. And people have speculated about where something or someone could have been hiding out inside the house. The bedroom closets didn't seem to have any doors. But the crawl space did. And it would be pervert heaven for a stalker. Imagine surveillance equipment in that bathroom vent. Okay, maybe that's too much. But cash or illegal drugs without the girls knowing about it. It's possible. Thanks for viewing, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
Okay, let me check out one other thing here. I can't remember what this is. Let me see. Okay, let's see. Just gonna show this real quick. Just found some things that were interesting to me when I was looking. I was like on YouTube last night for quite a while. So let's take a listen.
What was Dylan doing on Snapchat all night? Roll that tape.
There's not really a break in Dion's phone. That is pretty well continuous. I'm talking about the Snapchat activity, talking about Instagram, as well as editing pictures.
One of the students' faces looked like a dented tennis ball.
Know the condition of Kaylee's body and Maddie. My daughter received the text. She had received the text by 10 a.m. from somebody in Pi-Fi, and then she distributed it, and other people did as well.
From Pi Beta Phi.
Yes, that's exactly right. I don't know what format the communication was in. I believe it was Snapchat.
I'm talking about the Snapchat activity.
You knew everything that had happened. And down to like the injuries and where the kids were. Know the condition of Kaylee's body and Maddie's. Like, who does that?
Yeah.
Who does that?
I will never let a sucker start an Armageddon.
Okay, and that's from Euphoric. Sounds like Ted, doesn't it? He ran like a Ted video or something, because it sounds like Ted. I haven't seen nothing from Ted lately. I'm gonna have to go look up his page. Never went there. Terry Martin, Steve G knew about these crawl spaces, but said he never went there. DM's boyfriend Quinn also said he never went to Moscow. Yeah, right. Ask yourself, why don't they want us to know? Yeah, there's something about Moscow. And is it going to come out in trial? That's the thing, you know. Is it going to come out in trial? Does Anne know? Is she digging into that part too? I mean, she wants a lot more time. In my opinion, people, this case is not going to go to trial this year. I don't think it's going to be at least a year from now before they go to trial. That's what I think. If there's even a trial, because Anne, I think, is working hard to get this dismissed. I mean, I think she's looking at every avenue. She's looking at other perpetrators. I think she's like behind the scenes. I think she's going for the throat. You know what I mean? She's going for the throat. But it's taken. This case is so complex, and that's why I think there's more to it. Because like the trafficking or something, there's something there that we're missing. It's like this great big puzzle, right? It's like this great big puzzle, and there's a piece missing. There's a piece missing, and it's just not right. And what is that piece? What is that piece of information that we're missing? And that's what we should be looking for, is that one piece of information. And is it trafficking? Is there some form of trafficking going on in that city? And is LE involved? Was one of the survivors involved with LE on the trafficking thing? That's another thing to look at. You don't know. We don't know. I doubt it. I don't think so. But you got to think about it. And where is that? Let me see where that went. Do I got something? Hold on a second here. Let me look and see here. Let me look. No, I didn't put it there. Okay. And look here. And things like, just to show you that real quick too. and I think I've showed this before. Okay, now, oh, come on. Hold up. Now, Steve, let me see here. Is it making sure everything's running right here? Steve had said that he punched her in the face. Well, and then you have DM saying there was someone carrying what looked like a handheld vacuum cleaner. And I've explained before, I explained a camera that matches a camera, like someone was filming it. But it also can be a beanbag gun. Because here's your beanbag gun right here. There's a beanbag gun right there. Now, some people, okay, let me see. Does it come up yet? There it is. Okay. There's a beanbag gun, people. And that does look, oh, stupid ad. This does look, I mean, this could be what she's seeing. And they pulled out of that, or by Maddie's jacket by the fire hydrant, which, you know, I want to get into too, that whole jacket scene and how did it get there? Was it there before the police were there? Before the police were there for Banfield? You know what I mean? Anyway, this is the beanbag gun. That makes a lot more sense than a vacuum cleaner, right? And Steve said, oh, you know, he punched her in the face. No, I don't think so, because I can't remember what the timing was on this. I'd have to look it up. But you can hear 3 beanbag shots. People say, oh, there was a gun. You can hear a gun. No, that wasn't a gun. I went and listened to the sound of the beanbag guns going off, and that's what it is. You can match it right up to 3 times. You hear it in the Linda Lane audio. You hear, you know, you hear it, and it's a beanbag gun. And we've heard that before. Now, LE carries these beanbag guns. So all this stuff is, it's fucked up, man. It's just, it's weird. It's, then you try to think of like the what Bethany said about exculpatory evidence and what that would be. Is it the naked guy that was running out? Was that the exculpatory evidence that they were talking about? Or that Bethany should have been allowed? There was other witnesses that were coming forward too. Did you know that? I've heard that too. There was at least one other kid coming forward. And that was going to be at the preliminary hearing. And of course they went with the grand jury. I want to see what people are saying. In the back. Yeah, I agree with that, Deborah. Yes. Yeah, exactly, Annie. Yes, they'd mess up a face pretty badly. Yeah. Especially at close range or something, you know. Yeah, we did hear rumors that they were shot. I'm not sold on the fact that there wasn't guns involved. If it did, let's say it all happened in the house, which I don't agree with. And I'm going to be coming out with a whole theory show because I do have a new theory. I think I'm going to come out with a video or come out live with it. I think it'll be pretty extensive, from start to finish. Let's see. Right, simply so. But doesn't that make more sense? Terry. Yeah, it was a telescope. BK was carrying his telescope for his stargazing. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, that's a lot of it has to do with that down the rabbit hole now. Yeah, she's asking for a continuance because there's thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of leads, and it does sound like I think the judge is going to have to look at this alternate perpetrator here because, for one thing, I think he was thrown into this, and he didn't know much about the case until now. He's learning and learning more about the case, and I think then all of a sudden you have a leak, and he's not dumb. What did he do? He went right. This is not from the defense. This is from either LE or prosecution. He's not stupid. So the more he looks into this case, I think the more he's going to be going, there's something wrong with this. What the hell is going on here? And then it's going to go back to Bill Thompson. And he's going to, he's going to have some questions for Bill Thompson. Like, what the fuck are you doing? If I was a judge and I started, finding out everything about this case, that's what I would do. What the fuck are you doing, Thompson? So I got something else I want to show you. Something I was doing. I need to bring up, hold on a second here. Okay, let me see here. Okay, so is this the newest one? I hope so. I might have one somewhere else. But let me see if I can present this or not. Okay, so let me move this out of the way. I want to make sure this is coming up. Okay, there we go. So this is just a Audacity. It's a free musical thing that you can use. And I want you, what I want is I want to see if you hear what I hear. And I'm concentrating on just a few places. But this is the audio from 1112. Okay, this is the audio from 11112. Oh, where are you? Okay, so let me know if you hear this. I want to know if you can hear it first. Okay, so can you hear that? Okay, so did you guys hear that? I want to make sure that you guys heard that. Turn it up. It's very faint. Wow, it's like really loud on my end. Like really loud. Shit. I don't know. Maybe it's not going to work then. Let me see. Where's see, I haven't worked this software for a while. Playback meter. It's at 100%. So okay, I got like different filters on this and stuff, and what I hear right there, what they're saying, and I don't know what other people have heard, but it is now though, right? It is now though, right? Listen. But there's one section I want you to listen to, and it'll get there. Oh. Here it comes here. Here's the one section I want you to listen to, right? I went there. Okay, let me put it there. Right there. Okay, I'm going to move it even closer here, and then I want you to listen to this. Okay, and the reason I'm doing this is, let me see, where are you guys at here? Okay, what do you guys hear there? No, you can't hear it. Oh man. Okay, shit. Let me put that down then. Let me see. I'm going to try one other thing and see if it works from doing it that way. Okay. Okay, and back here. Sorry for the delay here, everybody. I'm getting there. Okay. I want to make sure that this is there. And it is. Okay, now I want to make sure that you hear this. That's the key. I don't know why I'm having problems with the sound on this. Okay. Can you guys hear that? Can you hear it? Oh boy. Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to figure out a different way to do it. I'll have to show it next time. What I did find was it sounds like in 3 times it sounds like they're saying Maddie. And I haven't heard that before. And I ran it through some filters and compressed it, changed the voice, slowed it down, and you can hear them talking about Maddie. And that's in the 1112 audio. And I don't think that's ever been heard before. I don't think anybody else. No, yeah, I hear it really loud in my earbuds. I mean, it's really loud because I turned it way up on that, and so it's. Let me just look at my settings once because, whoops. Where am I going? There we go. Let me just take a peek once. I'm going to turn up everybody. Yeah, this one is down. Okay. But that's on my mic, I think. All sound devices. Stereo mix. Okay. And go back. I'm just going to look and make sure that everything is way up there. Speaker. Volume. Yeah, that's down to 67 too. I don't know how these get changed. You know what I mean? I don't know. Seems like I've done this before. I had to go back in there and change everything over. It's like maybe it comes with the updates or something. I'll try it one more time just to see if I got it. Let me see. Which way do I want to go here? There we go. And oh no. Oh, there it is. see here. I'm getting there. Okay, so let's try this one more time. I'm going to try it. If it fails, it fails. Okay. And then I'm just going to use a media player again. So, move this out of the way. Can you hear it? Can you hear it? Can you hear it? Hello? Can you hear it? Still can't hear it. Do you guys got earbuds in? It is up. Barely, yeah. Okay. No. All right. I don't know what's going on there. I can't figure this shit out. Yeah, let's see what this says. Yeah, that's at 100% too. So I don't know what's going on there. Okay, well, whatever. Anyway, that's what I hear. And if you guys want to go listen to it yourselves and find that 1112 audio, it is buried back there because I brought it way up. I did. I mean, you guys don't hear that, but it's really loud in these. I don't know why it's not going across on StreamYard here, but no, maybe there's a setting in here. Let me look. No, just the mic volume. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, just the mic volume is in there. Yeah. Okay. Whatever. Anyway, if you get a chance to go listen to it, you might be able to hear it. I'm going to try to figure out a way how I can do this because I'm pretty sure, especially on one of them, I mean, it's definitely Maddie. And I'm surprised no one has caught this on 1112, 11112 or whatever is audio. It is like when you look at those graphs on the music thing there, you know, the high volumes here, it's down about here. So I had to take just that little section and I boosted it up. And then I changed the voice and I slowed it down and then I compressed it. And you can hear it pretty well. And it does say Maddie. And there's two other places, at least two other places. I'm not done with that audio yet. There's at least two other places where it sounds like they're at least mentioning Maddie's name. I can't tell what they're saying about her, but you can hear them say Maddie. Anyway, yeah, I'm not sure about it either, Terry. But that's the one that's in the documents that they say that they hear the thud and all that stuff. And what I used was a good one of it. I mean, not like one that's got a bunch of shit in it. I used the, raw data or whatever. So anyway, yeah, I want to know that too. And I think, I think you guys all know at least part of my theory, but things have changed in my theory, and that's why I'm going to be coming out with a show on that. But the exciting part this week is tomorrow night. Tomorrow night's Friday, right? And guess who's going to be on this show right here, Once Upon a Crime Time? Going to be Samantha G. All right? Sam's going to be on tomorrow night. So Her name is Samantha Nelson. No, but I put Samantha G so y'all would know who I'm talking about. And I've been looking forward to, having a nice talk with her. Yes, yay, Sam. Yep. Yeah, people are, yep, exactly, Jackie. Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to hearing from her and talking to her, and I'm really excited about that show. And we always try to get the best right here to interview, and with her, and then Harsh is going to be on the 26th of June. That'll be my birthday show. I'm excited about that one. Moonflower booked that one, and yeah, it should be a good show tomorrow night. And I appreciate y'all being here and everything, and I love you all very much. That's what I have for tonight. There was one other thing I wanted to show, but I didn't. I must not have linked it. I must have forgot to bookmark it, so I'm not going to go looking for it. I want to hear what some of you have to say first here. Crazy about my opinion. Ethan gone out some stuff. Told frats make it look like a fight. In my opinion, Jack they took full advantage of opportunity without the others. That's a good theory, Amy. That tends. Dershowitz, right? Okay. Yes, and like up and sub up and all that good stuff. And my mods, you are my heart. And where am I going here? They got something there. Yeah, down here, I think I do. Oh yeah, there's this one, and Randy, you sent me this, I do believe, and I'm going to leave you with this. Anyway, until next time, my mods, you are my heart. My subs, you are my heart. My mods, you are my soul, my rock. And until next time, rock and roll.
He's left him nothing behind, but he's just a bastard in your eyes. He's just a bastard in your eyes. Don't be so ignorant. Don't let your conscience rest. I'm asking, how can you judge this man when you don't even know the life that he's been ending? And it cuts like a knife. He's just a shadow in the darkness. Yes, his senses have gone, and the streets are his home. But to you he's no one, 'cause to you he's just a bum. Don't be so buy you happiness. You can't always choose your life, but you can choose your destiny. And I will give you, my friend, with one apology, say, don't be so ignorant. Don't let your conscience rest. I'm asking, how can you judge this man when you don't even know that I feel love? Don't be so ignorant. Don't let your conscience rest. I'm asking, how can you judge this man when you don't even know that I feel
She moved down here at the age of 18. She blew the boys away, it was more than they'd seen. I was introduced and we both started moving. I said I dig you, baby, but I gotta keep on moving. On. Keep moving on. Last dance with Mary Jane. One more time to feel the pain. Summer creeping in, and I'm tired of this town again. Whoa, yeah. Going down, I'm tired of screwing up and I'm tired of my time. Oh yeah, yeah, oh hell yes. Gotta put on the party dress. Buy me a drink, sing me a song. Take me to come, cause I won't last long. Last dance with Mary Jane. One more time to feel the pain. I'll be summer creeping in. I'm tired of this town again. Yeah. Nightfall will be coming soon. Oh my, oh hell yes. Gotta put on the party dress. And it's too cold to cry when I woke up alone. And it's the last number and I want to go. Let's dance with Mary Jane. One more time to you, baby. After summer creeping in and out, time is out again. shadows of the moonlight. When the time is right and stars shine bright, I'll kiss my lady through the night. Oh my girl, did you hear all those whispers in your ear? The shadows of the moonlight. Starstruck and stuck in time, it always seems to be the same old rhyme. My thoughts inside, I miss you day and night. There's only one reason to stay up all night. The shadows of the moonlight. I'm slipping away and it's almost time. Take my hand, my girl, please don't cry. Hold me forever until I die. Don't be lonely, I'm by your side. Fly up the shadows of the sunlight's gone, the light shines on. The story will go on and